All right, we are live. Yay! A massive, massive welcome to everyone for day 2 of the Freedom Formula. I'm so excited to be joined with Saber and myself for day 2. We're really going to be unpacking what the Freedom Formula is. So I just really want to celebrate you for showing up yesterday and playing full out. And there's been so many people posting in their home play and tasks from yesterday that Tariq and Amberly gave. So I would love for you to take a moment to share with us into the comment box, what was your biggest takeaway of yesterday? There has been thousands of comments and people like that have had their minds blown from yesterday. And I would really like you to just take a moment to share with us, what was your big takeaway? What was your big aha moment? What are you leaving that conversation with that has potentially changed the trajectory of your life and really impacted your life from here on in? I know when I learned about money mindset and, you know, how our beliefs and our patterns and all of those types of things impacted how my life was, I started to realize that if I had, you know, where I was in my life a few years ago, which was kind of rock bottom, that was all based on my thoughts, my behaviors, my actions, my money mindset, that I'd been carrying for my whole life, you know. And I knew to myself that if I had the power to kind of create what I'd created, which was rock bottom, I had the power to create whatever I desired, right? So I truly believe that it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, whether you're at rock bottom, whether things are going really well, whether you want more in your life, whatever it is, it just really comes down to a decision of changing those patterns and those behaviors and that mindset and those belief systems, and really making a decision to actually fully rewire those. And this work completely changed my life. I truly believe that success is, I believe that success is 20% of the strategy, which we're going to talk into today, which is the method, right? You need to have a method and a strategy and a formula to actually get what you actually desire, right? And then 80% is our inner world. If we don't shift the beliefs and the money mindset and everything that's there, then it's kind of like all this stuff in our trunk. We're putting out there that we want all of these things, but if we haven't done that inner work, then what we put out there or whatever business vehicle that we have ultimately isn't going to work if we don't work on both of these things. And if we don't have an amazing strategy, like I see so many people focusing on like rewiring their subconscious and affirmations and mantras and all of these amazing things, which is great, but then they don't actually have a method or a formula or a strategy to implement so that they can actually create and bring those manifestations into the physical. I'm going to wait for a few more people to jump on, but please do keep sharing with us into the chat box. What was your biggest takeaway of yesterday? Now, today is really a conversation that has the potential to change the trajectory of your life forever. Today, we're going to break down the 3 steps of the Freedom Formula, which is a whole new way to lead, to earn, to give, to receive, and to thrive in life. And we're going to go dive into a trailer version of what this is, right? We've got 60 minutes with you today. We're going to go deep. We're going to deep dive into all of the parts and all of the pieces. And then you've got an opportunity to go even deeper with us at the end of today. You committed to be here. You, by being live, you're the person who has literally like invested $10,000 to be here. In our welcome video, we mentioned like, yes, you've received a free ticket to be here, which is amazing, but act as though you've invested $10,000 to be here. So if you're on live with us, you're the person pretending like you've invested $10,000 to be here, because obviously this, what we're sharing is really important to you, right? You're somebody who is deeply desiring to make a change in your life or looking for more in your life. So what we're going to go through is really this new paradigm of the new way of how to do business. And we know that if you're here with us today, you're someone who is making their dreams bigger than their fears. You're someone who finds a way out of no way to make things happen. You're someone deeply devoted to creating a life and a business and a legacy that is so much beyond you, so that when you pass away, you've left a positive impact. You've left a ripple effect. You've left a legacy. And you're someone that's desiring to create more time, more financial freedom, and location freedom, so that you aren't dictated by a calendar or by your bank account, right? You can say yes when your soul wants to say yes to things, because your bank and your calendar actually allow you to do that. A lot of people have money, but they don't have a lot of time. Their calendar is full. I know very many successful people in the online world making multiple millions, which is amazing, right? But their calendar is literally like back to back all day. So you're here because you desire more time. You don't want to be on back-to-back calls or sales calls or things left, right, and center. You want to be able to say yes to your time. And then I know people who have a lot of time, they've created a lot of time in their life and they're kind of living the freedom lifestyle, but they have no money and they're broke, right? And that was kind of me a few years ago. I'd chosen to actually live this lifestyle, and yet, I wasn't able to pay my bills. I was getting evicted from my house and I was driving a car. I ran in a car that was breaking down at the light. So I had some time, but I didn't have any money to enjoy it. And so this is really a conversation that blends all of those three pieces together, of the time, of the financial, and of the location. So just really celebrating you for being here. So first of all, who actually are we? We are a community of visionaries, of entrepreneurs, of freedom seekers, everyday people with just big dreams, right? Like, there is nothing special about me. I'm an everyday person who just decided to live an extraordinary life. And what I see in our world is that extraordinary things are happening over and over and over again. Inside of our community group, we literally have people that have had big dreams bringing them to life because of the freedom formula. And so every time I present something like this, I feel deeply emotional, because it is so mind-blowing to see how many lives have actually been impacted by these three steps that we're going to take you through today. I've seen women be able to come out of the motherhood slumber and create wealth for themselves and actually figure out who they actually are and what their purpose is. I've seen, families be able to purchase land together and start an eco community and grow their own land and, grow their own food and be sustainable. I have seen, families being able to buy land in Costa Rica and, which is one of the most magical places in the world to be right now, especially over the last couple of years. I've seen the most extraordinary things happen, story after story after story after story, big dream after big dream after big dream happen. And so that's why you're here, right? Because you've got big dreams, you've got big visions that you want to bring to life, and you want to know how to do that in a way that's more simple and easeful and nourishing, right? I really believe that business gets to be spacious and nourishing, and that we actually do have the time to, have our own personal healing. Like, for me, I've been through a massive personal healing over the last few years. And if I was tied to a 9-to-5 job, I wouldn't have been able to have the space and the time to actually be able to do that. So this is about really creating that life, which is true to you within, that you might go to bed every night thinking about. And it's really about waking that up and activating that with obviously what we went through yesterday, but then today, which is actually the formula, which is actually the crux of everything. Okay. So I'm excited. I am so excited. In our community, we're really about normalizing success, normalizing collaboration over competition, normalizing living a life of choice, of desire, not from lack or scarcity, but from what do you actually desire? Normalizing investing in yourself and the circulation of money, right? Normalizing making big, bold moves. I'm going to talk more about that. But if you really want to create something big for your life, it's going to require you to think and act and behave like the highest version of you before you even become that person. You hear about people all the time that go from homeless to creating millions of dollars and all of these extraordinary stories, right? Which I have seen from my own eyes, these stories happen. But, it really comes down to making a decision to think and act and behave and become that person before you're the person. A lot of people will say, oh, I'll wait until I have the time to do the thing that's going to get me my time back. And it's isn't that totally not how that flows? If you want your time back, you have to be able to invest time to get your time back. 5 years ago, I invested time to get my time back. 5 years ago, I invested money to get my money back, right? This is how circulation works. If we're not prepared to invest into ourselves, time and financially, we're not going to be able to circulate that back to us so that we have the time and the money to do more of what we want in our life. At 28 years old, I was broke and literally praying. I'm not religious in any way, but I was praying to the universe. I had a baby coming in 4 months, and I was literally putting it out there, showing me something that can work quickly for me. If I put the action in, if I show up, and if I believe in myself and I actually follow the step by step, that it could actually work for me. I didn't have time to figure things out by myself. I didn't have money to invest into mentorship. I didn't have a lot of capital to, invest into business. I didn't have a great mindset back then. I had a really, really poor mindset. I really needed the mentorship and the support in the community and a proven vehicle that would actually work for me, that I could start to plug into and follow a step-by-step system and actually start having results quickly, because I only had 4 months till my baby was coming. So I didn't have the time to create a product and see if it would actually work in the marketplace. I didn't have time anymore to be throwing like coaching programs out there and see if they would actually work, right? Because that was what I was doing. I was on this entrepreneurial hamster wheel going round and around and around in circles, throwing all these things out onto the internet and hoping that something would stick. And yet I was always in the same place, which was burnt out, frustrated, all over the place, not able to pay my rent. At 31 years old, I went from being that person to creating generational wealth. And for the past 5 years, I have been able to live a life where I don't have to check my bank account or my calendar to say yes to the things I want to do. Currently, I'm on a family holiday up in Agnes Waters. If you know where that is, it's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful place in Queensland. And on our drive up here, I said to my husband, we should go traveling Australia. And he was like, we should. And we've like literally just made this decision. Now, I don't have to check if my bank account will allow for that. You know, yesterday my hubby's like, okay, if we're going to go on our trip, I need to put all these like snorkels and bull bars on our car and all these things. I'm like, do you really need that? He's like, well, I want it. And it was like, he's like, oh, it's $11,000, right? But it's like, we get to say yes to that because we ultimately want to go traveling and we can do those things, right? I don't have to check with my calendar. I can do everything that I want to on the road, completely location free, and have the time to actually enjoy the experiences whilst I'm on the road as well. So let me ask you a question. Why do you deeply desire to create time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom? Why is it a priority for you right now? Obviously, we have been through the last 2 years has been pretty crazy for most people. Type into the comment box if you've been impacted in some way over the last 2 years. I think every single person has, right? In some way. If you think about it, we had, you know, everything happened. The world closed down. There was lockdowns. There was businesses had to close. There was people that had to pivot in their job. There was so many things that happened. Now in 2022, we're dealing with inflation. Fuel prices are skyrocketing. There is potentially an economic crash on its way. Most people are likely in a situation right now where they're going to be watching the news, staying in fear, and worrying about their future. We can watch the news and stay in fear and worry about our future, or we can actually create our future. We can turn the TV off and actually create our future of how we actually desire it. Because if you look back at times where there's recessions or economic crashes, that's when millionaires are born. That's when people actually become successful. So there are in spaces where people choose to stay stuck in like the destruction and the fear, there is also a lot of people who are choosing a whole different reality. There's almost like two different realities happening at the same time, coexisting. And we get to play the game of which reality are we going to choose? Are we going to choose the reality of fear and destruction and distraction? Or are we going to choose the reality of I get to control my future, right? It's just really a simple decision. Everything is actually a simple decision, and everything can change overnight when we make a simple decision. We can have a line in the sand moment in our life where we can go, you know what, I'm kind of fed up living like that. Even if we have a great life, you know, there's parts, even if we have a really great life, there's still parts where we might be procrastinating, where we might be wanting like our next big move, but we're still like kind of staying small. At any point of our journey, we can have a line in the sand moment and say, yep, that's enough. I decide from today. So that's what really gets to happen. And so that's my question to you is why is it important for you right now? Why do you desire it for yourself? And by you creating this for yourself, how is it going to impact you? How is it going to impact others around you? How is it going to impact your children? How is it going to impact the collective? How is it going to impact future generations to come? Who will be positively impacted by you saying yes to you controlling your future, rather than worrying about what's happening in the economy and the market and all of these different things? Who's going to be positively impacted by you making that decision? Because when you make that decision, it's a decision for you. It's a decision for the collective. It's a decision for other families. It's a decision for your children. It's a decision for the next generation. The ripple effect of our choices and our decisions is so great. So why is it a non-negotiable for you right now? We do not need to be living in a reality where we're stuck and we're struggling and it's like hard, right? We get to actually really tap into what this whole masterclass has really been about, and about yesterday is limitless freedom, limitless possibilities, limitless abundance, right? It's simply a decision. And as I mentioned, how we actually do that and how we unlock that is we become that version of ourselves now, making decisions from that version of you. When I went from broke to recreating my whole life and taking control of my future, I showed the biggest thing that made the difference was I acted like I was that person before I was the person. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, what would the successful version of Christy do right now? How would she act? How would she show up? How would she invest? What decisions would she be making for her life? Would she be watching the news every night? Would she be actually like, listening to mindset stuff and actually working on a business and actually working on taking control of her financial future? So you can ask yourself that same question. How would if you're someone who wants to create seven figures for your life, okay, cool. Ask yourself that question. How would the seven-figure version of you show up, right? What decisions would you be making? How would you act? How would you be investing? You've got to make those decisions. You've got to make the big, bold moves first before you actually become the person. It's the biggest thing to actually have really big radical shifts and quantum leaps in your life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass over to Saber, and Saber is going to start to take us through what the Freedom Formula is. There's 3 steps to the Freedom Formula, and we're going to spend the next 30 minutes or 20 to 30 minutes really just breaking down these 3 steps and how you can go on a journey with us. And I'm going to pass over to Saber. She's an amazing, beautiful woman in my life who has created extraordinary things, is an artist and a visionary and a creative, and had her line in the same moment and really wanted to be the artist and the creative and all of that, whilst also having a really big life, whilst also having the wealth, whilst also having all of the things and really tapping into limitless freedom and abundance. So I'm going to hand over to Saber, and I'll see you back here in a moment.
Shares, it's like, this is what we get to step into. I'm so honored to be sharing with you guys today, because truly, like, oh my gosh, like she shared, I shared in my welcome video, was I did come from a background of being a creative, and I really wasn't, the trajectory of my life as a creative, like trading my time for money, and just even if I was creating my own products and services and really heavily relying on that as my passions, I experienced going to so many events with my passions in 1 year. I went to 26 events in 1 year, and that's when I had my line in the sand moment. I needed to learn how to create real, true assets for me that was really going to pay me wealth. And this is exactly what I learned that has completely changed my life almost 3 years ago now. It's wild to think about, and I'm just super honored to be sharing this with you all, because it truly is, like everything that Christy said, can absolutely be the missing link for you, just like it was for both of us and thousands of others around the globe, and the people that we've been sharing in the group. So this is kind of an overview of what the actual Freedom Formula is, right? There's 3 pillars to this. And I remember hearing this saying, like, what's the most important part of a vehicle, And it's, some people would say it's the engine, some people would say it's the air conditioner, whatever your opinion is on it, right? But ultimately it's the piece that's missing, or it's the piece that's not working, right? So when you look at these 3 pillars, in my life, in my business, I was leveraging social media a bit, but I didn't have any automation. I wasn't having a leveraged offer. Everything that I created from scratch, right? So what I found is, if you don't have these 3 pillars working together, then we don't really have a freedom business, right? And this is just so key. It's completely key for us to actually create true wealth, and something that's really going to pay us abundantly in a way that, we're in our genius zone, we're in our flow. It's like we have that time freedom, we have that location freedom, we have that financial freedom, we have it all. I felt like in traditional business models, I really had to sacrifice my time ultimately, right? Who feels like that when they're creating their own stuff from scratch, from the ground up? And it could be a really difficult journey, you know, like most businesses do end up failing 3 to 5 years down the road because they just find out that it's very difficult to do it alone. And not to say that, you know, people don't do it alone and it's amazing when they do create it from the ground up, but it's for most people. For me, I didn't want to wait, you know, 10 years until I didn't want to sacrifice my time, this precious life, you know, that I have. So pillar number one is really ultimately about leveraging social media. So I'm going to go into that here in a bit, but leveraging social media, you know, launching and scaling your personal brand. This is really how you actually get to get paid to be you, and partnering with a high profit leveraged offer. So like I said, instead of creating your own offers, or maybe even an addition, you know, like how many of you already have a personal brand? You could put personal brand in the comments. And maybe you're here and you don't even have any experience in the online world. I love that this space is really something that people can plug into. It's not an either or, right? But it's really available for people who want to tap in and want to plug in and have an additional stream of income, or something that they, you know, even if they've never launched their personal brand, it's like we have it all here in a done for you platform. So the third piece of this that we have in our entire space is automating your offer, right? Having leveraged done for you systems and mentorship. So the done for you systems is really what allows you to stop trading your time for money. I remember when I heard about leverage, you know, like I just remember making so many earrings, assembly lining, all of these earrings. And I was a crafter, and I was just counting how much I had made in that time frame, and just hearing about leverage where I can actually have money working for me, and hearing about automation where I actually don't have to be there every step of the way. And you actually get to do it in a way where you get to actually be your fully expressed self. And these are the three pillars. So this is exactly what we're going to be going over today. This is just like the high level overview, just kind of like how Christy talked about. It's the trailer, right? So what we have available for you in this class is very much like when you watch a trailer for a movie, you know, you're just checking it out and seeing if it aligns and if it resonates. And if it does, you're like, I got to watch that movie for sure. And we have more detailed ways that you guys can all explore for you at the end. I'm really excited to share that with you because it's truly, oh, it's so exciting. Okay, so pillar number one is leveraging social media. As I shared, we're already on social media, right? So why not monetize it? I don't know if some of you guys have ever checked out how much time you actually do spend on social media. It is the irony of it. I remember when I watched a masterclass like this, I felt like I just didn't have time. You know, I was working so much and doing all these things, but I typically would veg out a bit on social media, and I was a content consumer. And as inspiring as that was, in some ways, I wasn't like, that's so much of a chunk of my life, you know, of my day, that turns into the week, that turns into the month, that turns into how much time we spend on social media a year. It's like, why not actually learn to monetize that so we can have an epic online business, to have an epic offline life? Because what's really cool is, you know, this was the missing link for me, having a social media for my business before. I realized that people don't resonate with pushing products and services. They just don't, you know, like the benefits and the features and all these pieces. What people are buying from now is really people who they know, like, and trust. And I realized now why, when I was sharing on social media, that I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall, but I was really missing this piece of personal branding, you know, like I didn't know. I thought that I had to have a lot of followers. I thought I had to be in those Instagram influencer vibes and have to like partner with these different brands and like rep all these products and services. I thought that that was the only way to actually monetize my social media. But what I didn't realize is that you can actually partner with offers on the back end that are automated in this way and actually get paid to be you know, through the art of storytelling. And what's really incredible about this space is I've never actually reached out to a single person ever about this business, you know? So like there's no need to actually engage in any tacky like sales things when you're actually building a powerful personal brand, because your personal brand is just you know? If you feel like you don't have a personal brand right now, just realize that if you're actually on this call right now, you do have a personal brand. It just means that you have a social media account And it just means that you're a stand for something. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. You know, we've had people who have come here who start with 5 Facebook friends if they've learned the art of attraction marketing and telling their stories with the education that we have in this space. So your personal brand, you know, when you think of those things you can talk to somebody about for hours and hours and hours and hours on end and never run out of things to talk about, you can actually learn to monetize that. This is how you actually turn your passions to profit. This is how you actually get to learn how to get paid to be you and not pitching products and not reaching out to people. And because we're using something called attraction marketing. And I love this. This was definitely the game changer for me, because when I found that I can actually just share my why, my vision, my mission, my story, my passions, you know, what I love to do, my lifestyle, that people can actually reach out to me every single day, and it works. It works, it works, it works. It's just was such a no-brainer for me, you know, with all the time that we spend on social media, like I said at the beginning, is to monetize that, is to share the things that we're basically already sharing, but learning actually how to monetize it with this freedom formula is so life-changing, because you will actually learn how to literally get paid to be you. Did you have anything to add to that, Christy, before I pass it on to you for the second piece? Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, I mean, like, I really feel like if we're not tapping into monetizing our socials, we're going to be left behind. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we've really got to understand the power of this, and that we can turn our payroll, like our scroll, I mean, into payroll, our payroll
Yeah.
into scroll, our scroll into payroll. Like, we have there's over 2 billion people online. And as long as we have an irresistible offer, like, you know, there's people out there that are just kind of growing a brand, but they're not even making any money. And it's like, why not actually be able to create incredible value and create incredible impact, and actually do it in a way where we get to receive really abundantly? And there's really two ways to do that. You know, there's organic strategies where you don't even have to pay for a single like cent of advertising. I built my entire empire through organic marketing, right? And we teach you that step by step if you come and take those next steps with us. Or you know, if you're someone who doesn't really want to be online, you don't really want to show up too much, there's like Instagram ads and there's Facebook ads. So there's kind of something for everyone. You know, for me, like, the power of social media and then having the right offer and vehicle has meant that I'm not on socials all the time. I don't like post every single second of every single day. It's not about that, right? It's about leveraging a tool that we already have and that we're already utilizing, but in a way that's really smart and really effective. So for me, like last year, I took 2 months completely offline. I didn't post one thing. And my business continued because I'd grown foundations. My business continued to grow and to scale. Recently, I took 4 months out at the start of this year, from the end of last year until April, because I had my third baby and I wasn't online. I was like at all. And again, my business kept continuing to scale and continuing to grow because I'd laid those foundations. So the power of social media and having like an online presence is like, people want to buy from people that they know, like, love, and trust, right? And so we have this opportunity at our fingertips where we can literally build that without even paying for that advertising. So I'll pop it on to Louise and then you can pass it back to me.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I love Louise. She's just such a great example of, you know, anybody can be building a personal brand. Louise Millman, she's built a personal brand as an off-grid, freedom fighting, world schooling, dready, barefoot hippie mama, right? It's like, she's so incredible. I love how she literally has turned her whole entire permaculture off-grid paradise that she actually was able to put a down payment on from her earnings in this space. She built a brand around that lifestyle. You know, her chickens and her daughters and her really incredibly rustic truck that's got rips in the leather seats because she just rolls like that. You know, like, it's just so incredible how down to earth this woman is. And this just really goes to show you that, you know, you don't need to be any type of way. You know, you don't need to have this professional look. You don't need to have, you just get to be you. You just get to be you. It's not about the branding and the colors and the, you know, modeling photo shoots and all this perfection like we see sometimes on, like, say people say highlights on social media, but we're really actually debunking that as being our unique, authentic selves. And, you know, all the branding and the photos and things like that get to come. They get to come, but you absolutely get to come and show up how you are and create an incredible income through your social media.
Yes. And like there's so many opportunities with it, right? Like for me, since leveraging social media and building a personal brand, I've been able to, you know, I've got, you know, my high profit business, which I'm going to share with you soon, but I've also got many other little different things. Like I've had retreats that have sold out straight away because I've leveraged social media. And, you know, I've had a product business, like a little superfood business as well, that I did for like an impact project. And, you know, again, it like grew based on having a personal brand, based on actually creating and leveraging with social media. And so the power of this means that it's not restricted to just having like one offer. You really get to build a brand around who you are and actually have those offers that actually align with you. So let's start to now get into what that second pillar is, which is really partnering with a high profit leveraged offer. You're going to see that we're talking a lot about leverage here, right? Like it was the freedom formula, how to create a leveraged income online, because leverage is really important. Without utilizing, like with social media, we don't have to set up the social media. We get to leverage an app that's done for us, right? When we think about actually then having an offer, there's two options with having an offer, an irresistible offer. We can partner with something that's already done for us. This is just a decision, right? Like you get to go, okay, cool. Like, does it feel good for me to partner with something that's already done for me, that's already been proven to work and convert, that, you know, has kind of stood the test of time, or create something of our own, right? Now, I've done both. And I'd love for you to pop into the comment box. What do you think out of doing my own or partnering with one and like one that's already done for me and leveraging that? Which one do you think has given me more time, more finances, more location, more community, more of all of the things? Which one? Creating my own or leveraging? Because I really want to show you the power of partnering with something that's already done for you. So over my years, I quit my corporate job 10 years ago. I'm coming up to the 10-year celebration. I need to have like a 10-year I'm free celebration party. But the first 5 years of that was not easy at all, right? I had to go through a lot of ups and downs. I got scammed along the way. I tried all different things, you know, like I had people saying things about me, like there was all sorts of things going on, right? But in that time, I tried both. I tried, you know, creating my own things, which for my experience, and that doesn't mean it's everyone's experience, but for my own experience, what I found was that creating my own, that's when I was most frustrated, most stuck in my life and struggling. There was a point around 6 years ago, I had a raw food cafe and I was working 18 hours a day. My staff were getting paid more than I was. I was barely able to pay my supply bills. And I ended up moving out of my apartment and living between my car and the couch on my cafe. True story. 100% true story. That was creating my own, right? A lot of investing, trying to see what works, me having to wear all of the hats in the business, right? Doing every single thing. And I realized like I got into business for freedom. And I got into business for impact. And I was making an incredible impact, right? Like a credible impact. People would come into my cafe and they're like, oh my God, this food's so nourishing. Thank you so much for everything you've brought to the world. Like, this is so amazing. And they were detoxing and they were having all these amazing experiences. And yet inside, I was dying. And I was dying because my highest value wasn't being met, which was freedom. Freedom in all senses, internal freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom. I just wanted to be free. I wanted to be able to wake up and live a life of choice. And yet I'd created like almost a monster that had made delicious impact in the world. And yet I was completely miserable. So I've done both. I've created my own products and services. And even at the moment, like I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I've got, you know, a superfood business and other things that I mentioned. But that one I've had for 3 years and I still haven't profited from. And that was creating my own because I've poured so much money into it over and over and over. So again, it's like making an incredible impact, but it's not like a profitable business yet, because most businesses and small businesses, they don't profit for 3 to 5 years, right? Now, when it comes to choosing an offer, it's about really looking at the difference between low profit and high profit. So low profit, like my little superfood business, it's like $50. So the profit margin might be like $10, right? Whereas, and same with, I know a lot of people come into our space after kind of being with like oil companies and shakes and all of these types of things. They're selling something that's like $50. So if they want to have if they've got like a dream income goal of however amount, they might have to sell 500 of those products in 1 month to be making $20 commission on each of those. 500 in 1 month, which is a lot of hustle. It's a lot of grind. It's a lot of meeting people. It's a lot of networking. It's a lot. It's just a lot. Whereas with high profit, and when I came across this formula and this method, and I really chose to align with something that was high profit, it meant that I could have a few sales go through my business in 1 month, and I would be earning the same as if I had 500. So I'm like, well, I know which one I'd rather. I know which one makes more sense to me. And that's my question to you. Like, what would you rather? Would you be rathering having to sell something to 500 people and making $20 commission, or to have something high profit and high ticket? And by really just that alone, leveraging high profit offers has been able to give me my time back, has been able to give me a life of choice, and something that actually has leverage. Leverage is like the sexiest word in the world, right? Smart entrepreneurs and smart people look at where they can create more leverage in their life. So the right offer is going to be something that is a win-win-win for all, right? I'm not prepared to offer something to the world that isn't a win-win. It's not a win for myself, for my bank account, for others' bank accounts, for the collective, for the planet, for the next generations. It has to be a win-win-win model. It needs to be something that's highly profitable and something that people are investing into themselves anyway, right? You don't want to sell something that nobody wants. You don't want to have an offer that nobody wants. It has to be something that actually people want, need, and love. It's proven to work and convert and has a long-lasting record. It's, able to stand the test of time when things happen in the economy. Like even in 2020, the high profit model that we recommend and we partner with inside of our academy, it went up 17%. It provides a high return on your investment. And it's in an industry that is thriving and solving people's biggest problems. So versus creating your own offer, and I won't go too much into this because I've already kind of shared about it, but it's like usually if you create your own offer, you've got to spend a lot of time testing it. You've got to spend a lot of money investing into it. It's going to potentially take 3 to 5 years to profit. And I know this from experience. Right? I know this from speaking to a lot of people in the entrepreneurial world. A lot of entrepreneurs are constantly trying to get investors to invest into their business so they can have more capital. They require more and more, and even some of the world's most successful businesses still constantly require more and more and more capital from investors to ensure their business can grow, right? So I didn't want the headache of that. I really didn't. And as I said, I didn't have time to figure out all of those things. Okay. And then it's not only just about like testing it and tweaking it and making sure it's actually going to work and then investing into it. It's like, how do you actually then learn how to do all of that? Then you've got to invest more to actually work with a mentor. And when working with a mentor, like if you want a one-on-one mentor these days, it's like 10, 20, 30, 50, 100K, right? Like I've invested, once I invested $180,000 to have a one-on-one mentor and be part of the mastermind, right? Like it's not just about finding something that works. Then you've got to actually have the mentorship to know, how do I actually make this successful? Now, Robert Kiyosaki, which is one of the world's richest, greatest wealth mentors in the world, has said, and this is who I listen to in life. I listen to people that have gone before me and that have actually made what I want happen. I don't listen to like naysayers and like, no offense to family members or friends or anything like that. But if they haven't created what I want in my life, if they're not living the life that I actually deeply desire to live, I'm not interested in taking on their opinion or their advice about my financial future. I've had family members say to me before, oh, you should just go back to university and like get your degree and finish your uni. And I'm like, but no, why would I? When I can't unsee what I've learned. Once you know there is more available for you out there, you can't unsee that. You can't unlearn that. So Robert Kiyosaki says, if I was to lose everything, he would align and partner with high ticket offers that were actually already proven to work and convert. So that's the type of people I'm interested in learning from. Now, meet Rebecca. She's a very, very dear, close friend of mine, and we own a business together. And Rebecca was selling supplements when she came into this space. She was selling supplements to her friends and family. She was a hustler, an all-time hustler. She was doing coffee shop meetings. She was burnt out. When I met her, she was like really unwell. She'd been hustling for years. And after learning and implementing the Freedom Formula, her life completely changed. Like, hustle isn't even in her vocabulary anymore. She is now the queen of like spaciousness and boundaries and like freedom, right? And actually really embodied and living that life, because she chose to partner with high profit offers that were already proven and working and converting. So I'm going to hand back over to Sabre, and she's going to share with us about automating your offer.
That's so huge. And that's so right? Like what Christy was saying, like listening to the people who really have what you want. That was a really, really key factor for me. Like seeing the women who were embodying their fullest expression, seeing even the men, right? There's so many incredible men in our space, seeing them who actually value that spaciousness and that freedom, as well as the financial abundance and the impact. I was like, that's what I want, right? Like, it's like I ultimately needed to do some shifts. For me, this was one of the biggest pieces, was automating my offer. Because ultimately, I shared, I come from a background of making art. And having this entire paradigm has seriously shifted the game for me, because now my passions really get to come from that overflow. And it's ultimately because I have all of this. I have this high profit offer that we're about to introduce to you here in a bit, that's fully automated. It's fully automated. Ultimately, like an example for Christy, when she had her brick and mortar business, her cafe, it's like you have to, in order to make money 24/7, you have to have your doors open 24/7, right? You have to be involved every step of the way. And this is why we want to make an income online, right? But you also need to have all these systems done for you, so you can actually have sales being actually processed for you without you even being there. We have an entire sales team, which is freaking incredible. Having people actually being able to go through an entire process where they are really truly taken care of, and you get to live your life. This is how people get to actually go take a couple months off, like Christy was saying, and go on maternity leave, go on vacation, go to the beach, go do sit in ceremony in the jungles for a month and 2 months, or whatever it is. It's like we get to actually honor what's going on in our lives and our cycles when we have automation in the back end. And in addition to that, to actually really automate your own business rather than partnering with an already established model, right? You have to create all of it. You have to create the systems, the processes, the funnels, the emails, marketing, and the sales team in order for all that to happen for you, right? I remember when I found this space, after those 26 events I had done, I had a whopping certain amount. I was like, all right, I got to invest in someone to outsource and delegate and do, like, get all of this automation set up for me, right? And it was just incredible to see that I could actually just earn what I could actually just earn with something that's fully automated and fully established already, than like what I've made in that whole year hustling with that spaciousness, with that location freedom, because I had all of this done for me, right? This is how you actually have money working for you, right? Like making money while you sleep. Because if you don't have automation, it's like, what's the point of making all this money in our businesses and doing these things? It's like, yes, we're passionate about it. And yes, I so totally resonate with what Christy was saying, is people having all this transformation with her product and services. But it's like, but I'm not happy, but I don't have the time to really enjoy the benefits of the income that I'm earning, and it's like my whole goal was to start a business so I can be free. My whole goal was to start a business and eventually travel the world and do all these things. Almost 4 years in, I had not profited either. And I was like, there is no freaking way that I could travel right now. There's like way too many moving pieces. If I leave, then my business stops because I had no automation, right? So ultimately, we have to have automation and we have to have systems working for us in the back end. And that's truly the only way that we are not going to burn out. You know, it's truly the only way that we're able to actually, you know, and not have to be so techy too, right? That was the other thing. I remember having tabs and tabs and tabs open. Okay, I needed to outsource this marketing and someone to do my website and create these emails for me and all these kinds of things. But I didn't have capital to start doing that. I had to actually try and learn that myself first and foremost, you know? And what I really love about having this model where it is already automated for you is it gives everybody an equal level playing field, especially in regards to skill set. You know, that was really, really big for me. It's like even the person who comes on who has never done any online business whatsoever, they're just like scared deathless of tech stuff, you know? It's like to actually take all of that weight off and know that all of the techie stuff, all of these processes, all of these nitty-gritty manual handling is actually done for you is so huge. You can obviously tell it's a massive game changer. And I actually want to share a story about one of the women in this space who she's incredible. I think she's literally like a year older than me or something to that nature. She's 28 years old, I believe. She's created an incredible business, and she had zero experience in the online world. She's a full-blown country woman, you know. She loves riding her horses and hopped into the automation here. She partnered with our high profit offer. She built her personal brand around rural women's freedom. I think that's just so epic, you know, to really revolutionize that you don't have to be a tech genius to grow this business. You know, you don't have to. She even automates things as far she's taught herself Facebook ads in in our the extra step to automate even like as far as lead generation, which she's literally able to attract buyers to her through her Facebook, and she's making high profit commissions. And she was able to do that very quickly just from having the business model fully set up for her and having all the education. So she could just learn the new skill that she needed to have. You know, it was all at her fingertips. Did you have anything else to add to the automation piece, Christy?
Automation is sexy. That's all.
Yeah.
It's changed my life.
I was going to say that's the second sexiest word is leverage and automation. Those
leverage
are the two.
And automation.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So if we could show you a way to create your dream life and business and actually learn these skill sets, because once you actually learn the skill set, it means you can do this with any offer. For less than a cup of coffee a day, would it be worth it for you? Yes or no? Simple question. All right. Welcome to your digital playground, an academy that brings together these 3 pillars that we have poured over $1 million back into to really revolutionize the online space of what's possible. So we bring these 3 pillars that we've just spoken about together for less than a cup of coffee a day. Pretty cool, right? We teach you how to monetize your socials. As I said, this skill set, once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. You have the skill set to do anything. Kylie, who you just saw, you know, she's partnered with our high profit offer that we recommend in the academy, one that's already done for you. Plus, she's also created her own. She's got, like, based on the skill set she's learned through this, she's got now like Facebook ads trainings and courses, and she gets asked to be a consultant for Facebook ads in all sorts of different spaces, right? Like, this is what happens when you understand how to monetize your socials and build a brand. We support you to partner with a high profit offer. If you already have an offer, amazing. The education is going to be incredible for you, right? And you also might want to have multiple streams of income, or you might not even have an offer. And that's amazing because you might be like, cool, like I want to monetize my socials, but what do I actually offer? We've already got that for you. So you don't even have to worry about that. You don't have to go out there and find one that's actually going to work and convert. And we have all the automated tools and systems and mentorship in place so that you can take action right away. So a place that brings together all of these actual elements. Now, inside of the academy, you're going to have access to our discovery process. I'll share more about that in a moment. You're going to be able to choose to align with our high profit offer. You're going to then understand the numbers of that. You will understand and look into our legacy wealth long-term vision. You're going to have all of the education. And by education, I'm talking step by step. We teach you step by step how to do this. You're going to have a money mindset course and a launch your business course. Access to exclusive masterminds each year. So one is a 90-day mastermind where we hold you very highly accountable for your implementation and actual actions, where you get over and like literally just the mastermind. You would if you weren't in this space, you would be investing like $15,000 to be a part of that. It's included in this for less than a cup of coffee per day. So a 90-day mastermind and quarterly one-day masterminds to support you in your momentum and in your implementation. And also, which is totally priceless, is a global community of people who have big dreams and are creating their life, right? They're taking control of their future rather than sitting at home watching TV and worrying about their future. So the next step is to really come into our discovery process. And this is like one of the things that changed my life forever, right? Is I saw something like this 5 years ago, and the questions that were asked changed the trajectory of my life. I finally got to see what my highest values were and how I was going to build my life around those values. And I started to really see where over those years of struggle, where I had kind of gone wrong, why I hadn't actually created what I wanted to create up until that point. So this process is so freaking powerful, right? You're going to come into the academy, you're going to go through this discovery process, and you're going to have a call with one of our digital business specialists who's going to support you to look at how our academy can support you. Okay, what are your goals and how can we actually support you to achieve those? All right. If you want to share a little bit about the product that we're going to recommend in the back end, this is the product and company that we recommend. This is one that I chose. 95% of people that come through choose it as well, because once they actually dive into the discovery process and have their call, they're like blown away. They're like, oh my God, this actually meets every single value of mine. So for me, like this has been the game changer. This is the leveraged high profit offer that's been able to create the life that I live today. So if you want to share a little bit about that, Saber.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is really exciting. Like I want to preface this by sharing that we get to do this in our own way. I just want to let you know that I've actually been in this space for almost 3 years, and I've literally never had to pitch anything about this product, but I still get to leverage it because it's fully automated. I know it's crazy, right? Like when I first heard this, I was just scratching my head. Like I was just like, what? But I want to tell you why I felt very connected to it. Because ultimately, even though I didn't have to actually go out and do my own sales, I didn't have to, do water demos, I didn't have to be the water girl or any of this stuff. I wanted to make sure that it was credible, that it was something that really aligned with my values, and it does 100%. Like what we partner with is a company called Enagic. They make incredible water ionizers. They're medical grade water ionizers that produce Kangen water. So this company is actually almost 50 years old. It stood the test of time, and it's actually a luxury medical grade ionizer. So it actually was in hospitals, or is in hospitals. It's been in hospitals in Japan for over almost 40 years. And what's incredible is it's just starting to scratch the surface of more like the Western world, or even if you're in the Australian side, it's like we're at the top of the bell curve. I felt like this was another thing I really wanted to make sure when I partnered with something that it was definitely that was up and rising. Like I found out 1 out of 10, sorry, not 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100 people actually know about this product, which is freaking incredible, and it's celebrities are drinking it, people that really understand health and wealth, because ultimately we're 80% water or more. I've heard all these different numbers, but we want to do all these exercises and these supplements and organic food and all these types of things, but no one's really talking about the water that we drink. Like the water that we drink is literally toxic in most places around the world, unless you have access to an incredible pure spring near you. Most people around the world don't. Our water is very toxic, and people are spending so much money on plastic water bottles, and there's all this BPA, like there's plastic filling the oceans, there's all these things happening. And so when I looked at this product, I got that I didn't actually have to sell this product myself because it is automated. I got to build a personal brand and actually share a personal brand around who I am. But when I saw this product, I really felt like it was just the best icing on the cake ever. Kangen in Japanese actually means return to origin. So what it does is it produces electrolyzed reduced water, which is rich in hydrogen, that allows your body to be more nourished and returns it to its optimum state. It's an eco-friendly product. It creates a toxic-free sanctuary in your home. So there's over 60 uses for the water that can actually replace all of the chemicals in your home, like your laundry soap, your bleach, even all the cleaning products under your sink. More plastic, chemicals, toxins, gone, because this water can actually be replacing all of these with the different pH levels. So for those of you who want to actually like explore this a bit, because for me, like, I was really making sure I did my due diligence, like I shared, to make sure that this was something that not only aligned with my values, but was something that was very credible, and you want to look up ERW, so electrolyzed reduced water. You can look this up on PubMed or Google Scholar. And it's really important to look, when you're looking up anything online, I kid you not, make sure to go to the credible places. Please, please, please. For anything, especially that's good for health and wealth, it's like, I don't know, Christy was talking a little bit about the whole news thing and what's happening, like with what people are focusing on. It's like what you see on Google, anybody can post on Google, anyone could create something on the internet. And I really encourage you guys to just write down PubMed or Google Scholar and check out the incredible articles and research and testimonies that this water has done, because it literally is the missing link to our health. And there are some just really incredible stories. And there's so much I could go into this water. There really is. Like, we're solving people's problems, right? We're providing clean drinking water. We're solving the plastic waste. We're, my gosh, solving a big health problem and a wealth problem. There's so much I could share about this, but one, we want to keep this really short. And two, you don't actually have to explain any of this to anyone, which is so freaking awesome. This is what really blew me out of the water. It's like, water didn't. But I didn't personally want to do more vending. Oh my gosh, I was vending at events like crazy. Like I shared 26 of them. And what I saw here was that I could actually receive the benefits of this product and actually plug into a model where it's all taken care of on the back end. But if you do have a health and wellness brand and like that's your jam, that's not personally the vision I had for my brand. I don't have a health and wellness background as far as that. So I didn't have to, be the artist that was all of a sudden an expert on water. Like that's the thing that I really appreciated about this space, is I could actually leverage and allow the experts who really knew their stuff to really take care of everything for me, so I could actually receive the benefits of this product in my health and my wealth. So there's so much more I could go into about this. I'm sure Christy will add maybe a little bit to it. But again, like that discovery process where you're doing your due diligence to really explore this business model deeper into the numbers, deeper into even the science of the water, everything, it's all there for you. Like we said at the beginning, this is very much more of a high level overview, like a helicopter ride, if you will, just to kind of see like the scope of how this very simple, very new paradigm business that's literally never been done before, but it's actually very simple. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Christy, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yes. Well, with this, we've been able to also like give back to, companies like Charity Water that are building wells in Ethiopia and all of these types of places. And for me, like I first and foremost got started with this based on actually having like the product for my health. At the time, I had really, really bad adrenal fatigue when I came across this, and my health was in a really, really bad place. And I had been living a raw food lifestyle, an organic lifestyle, and yet I knew nothing about water. I was drinking tap water. So for me, like I had this whole mindset shift of like, oh my God. And then I realized the return on investment is really big, right? I wanted to know that just the product alone was going to have a return on investment. And when I actually looked at the numbers, I realized I was going to save over $100,000 US just by having one of these, because I was going to replace all of the other things that I had, like toners and beauty products and cleaning products and all of these things that I wouldn't have to keep buying. And that also meant better for the planet of lowering, of better for consumerism, right? And sustainability. So like it was like a win-win-win-win-win model for me. And then when I looked at the numbers, which I'm going to share with you a little bit in a moment, and then I'm going to bring Brooke out. But when I actually looked at the numbers, I was like, this is a no-brainer. This was a true company that could actually meet my values of health freedom, time freedom, location freedom, relationship freedom, financial freedom. That is what the company stems from. It is over 47 years old, and it is really big in like the Japanese world, has been for many years. And now, based on like people like us, etc., it's starting to become more and more known in the Western world. And it is something that, you know, obviously return on investment just by having the product, but then with what's actually possible with this company, the return on investment of that. So let's talk numbers for people who really like numbers. I'm not going to go into this too much. You're going to go deep into this, into the discovery process, but you can see here what I mean by high ticket commissions, right? We have all different strategies. So some people like to get started with one machine. Some people like to get started with what we call a trifecta, which is 3 machines. But basically you can see here the types of numbers that we're talking about. And again, I'm not going to go too deep because you're going to be able to learn more of this in the discovery process, but you can see how good it gets to be. There is also legacy earning potential here. Now I'm going to show you something very quickly. We have the ability for each person to have 3 different businesses here. So I have 3 businesses and my husband has 3 businesses. And together, and you can do the maths on this, we have one 682-2 position, which is $12,000 bonus and then monthly and quarterly bonuses. We have a 2 682-3 positions, and we have a 682-4 position, and we also have a 682 position, right? You can do the maths when you actually look at what people are receiving monthly for life. This is legacy income that you're receiving that can be passed down to your children. I have never heard of a company that does that ever in my life. What kind of company has that, right? I shared with you where I was at 29, and I also shared with you where I was at 31. So for me to get to this space of legacy, it took me 2 years. For some, it's going to take longer than that. Could take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, could take 6 years, could take 1 year. I don't know. That's up to you. My results doesn't mean other people are going to have those results, right? But I was willing, and I saw this, and I was like, this is literally everything I've been looking for. So we just wanted to give you like a really high level overview, and in the discovery process, you're going to be able to learn more. But what you're also going to really receive as part of this academy is expert education and training from people that have created like multiple, 6-7 figure empires, like coaches and consultants that we bring into this space to mentor and to guide you, that have gone before you, that have like built all of the foundations and step-by-steps of how to actually grow a business in the online space in today's world. So people like Stephanie Schultz, Regan and Hillier, Preston Smiles, you might have heard of some of these top coaches. They come into and endorse this space, right? Melanie Ann Leah, I think she's done about 40 million in her business, online business, in the last couple of years. Top people that we bring in to mentor and guide you for less than a cup of coffee per day. When you come through, you're going to get access to our money mindset and our Launch Your Business course as well, to really shift those any money beliefs that are there and really be able to launch your business step by step. And we have an incredible global community. So what you're going to do, the next steps, and I really want to bring Brooke on. So please do stick around for the next 10 minutes, because this is someone who you do want to hear her story and her transformation. But what you're going to do, there's next steps that you're going to receive here. So usually to come into our academy, it's $99 US per month to access all of that. The masterminds, the education, the step-by-step, the money mindset course, the Launch Your Business, all of it, right? Which is incredible on its own, like absolutely incredible. It's a no-brainer, right? An irresistible offer is a no-brainer, and this is an irresistible offer. But what we're actually doing at the moment is we're giving people a chance to come through and actually have like a sneak peek trial for $22, right? Which we don't just go into social media and personal branding. We go deep into like energy and internal work and beliefs and like rewiring and all of these incredible things with these incredible mentors that we bring into the space. So what's going to happen is and you're going to reach out to the person who invited you. You can reach out and ask for their link. What I want to do is first and foremost bring on Brooke, who's going to share her story of what she's been able to create using this model and by actually choosing to partner with the high profit offer that we recommend inside of the academy, and then leveraging the academy and learning all of the education and all of the things. Her brand is freaking incredible. This is the person I was talking about that came out of her motherhood slumber and has created her own wealth for herself. So I'm going to pass over to Brooke. All right, Brooke.
Yay. Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm Brooke. I'm tuning in from Santa Cruz, California. And oh my gosh, every time I see this, I'm thinking like, wow, like it's such an opportunity for absolute life transformation. And I want you to know something that I've been here for 3.5 years now. And when I started this business, so I'm a mom of 2. I have a 12-year-old, I can't believe it, 12-year-old now and an 8.5-year-old. And when I started this business, I'm also an unschooling mom, which means my kids don't go to school. And I'm living in one of the most expensive places in the United States. I believe San Francisco is the only place that's a little more expensive than this one. And I was living a life that was absolutely not really what I wanted. I always wanted to be a mom. I always wanted to be with my kids. But I wanted to travel the world with them, and I wanted to be a yes family, and I wanted to be able to give them things that I didn't have the chance to experience as a kid. And what ended up happening for me is that we were broke. That's the bottom line. We were completely broke. And I was very much living in a real scarcity mindset. I had $57,000 in credit card debt. Gulp, right? We all know that debt can be a beautiful thing for us and support us now, but this wasn't something that I understood back then. All I knew is that I was on this ridiculous hamster wheel and I was not waking up happy. I wasn't waking up grateful. I wasn't in a space where I was creating my life. I was very much in a space of tolerating, of settling, of waiting for something to change. Give me a yes if you know what I'm talking about in the comments, but that was me. In fact, I really want to show you this. Hoping you can see it. This is me. This like makes my heart ache when I see this picture. I'm 50 years old, just turned 50 a couple weeks ago. I feel like I've aged backwards in the last 3 years. And this is because of this freaking unbelievable business that is here. And I sat and I clicked on a link. The way I found this was so crazy. It was through social media. I clicked on a link. It was midnight. I will never forget the day because it was Christy who was presenting, and it was a very old video from 3.5 years ago. And I remember sitting in my bed like this with my arms crossed. And I was like, what am I doing? Wasting my time watching this thing. It was midnight. I was so tired, but something inside of me, something bigger than me, I felt like there was a megaphone going off, that like a spotlight that was saying, listen up, pay attention. This is what you've been asking for. And I was looking for a change, but I just didn't know what the hell to do. And I was so friggin' exhausted. For those of you who are mothers, you know what I'm talking about, or parents for that matter. I was so exhausted and I was riddled with limitations. My biggest limitation, first of all, was money, because I had all this debt and we were just like every single month I was back to zero, every friggin' month. And I was at a point where I couldn't say yes to the little things, like even taking my kids to the Jumpy House for $12. You know, I was going into the grocery store going, can I afford the organic blueberries or not? And like having to make all these decisions based on money was making me crazy. And the most important thing to it is that it was like this, I felt like I was being strangled, like I was caught. I was completely caught and trapped, and I didn't know how to get out. But what happened for me is that I saw this video, and in this video, this is why we show you different pictures of different people. I saw a video and I saw these other women with like the light turned back on behind their eyes, like they had something. And I was so desperate at that time for like something to change. Something's got to give. You know, maybe you're in this scenario where you're like, something has got to give. And when I saw these other women, and that's just women, we have lots of amazing men here too, but for me it was women, right? Because that's who I am. And as I saw these women with this light turned back on, and they were traveling the world, and the whole reason I wanted to unschool my kids is because I wanted to take them all over the place. I wanted them to learn from the countries instead of from a book. And So I had had all these dreams that I really just gave up on them. And I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I had that line in the sand moment. And in the video, it said, go into the academy, you know, pay, at the time it was $99, like Christy said. And I was like, fuck it, what the fuck do I have to lose? You know, I'm already broke. Like, what the hell is $100? And I pulled out my credit card. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And I was angry, you know, because I was activated. I was like I wanted my life to be different so badly. And I didn't have a circle of influence at the time of people that were up to big things. My circle of influence were all burnt out moms that were in a motherhood slumber, and we were all just getting by. And I was so friggin' done with that. So I dove in. My partner thought I was crazy, didn't support me. And I said, I'm doing this. I am changing our life. I am doing it. Me. I'm doing it. I'm actually not asking your opinion. I'm doing it. Do you have a preference on which credit card it goes on? Like, that was it for me. I am friggin' done. And this is the power of making a decision, and making a decision that I'm worth more. I'm worth more than tolerating and settling a life that really isn't what I wanted. Like, I didn't sign up for that life. I wanted a bigger, better life for myself in a way that I can contribute back. And one of the most amazing things about building a personal brand is you don't have to worry about what the heck you're going to share about. You don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I know those are probably some of the limitations that are coming up for some of you, but I know for me, I heard the same thing that you did. We can just be ourselves and share what lights us up. And I thought, okay, well, I can share about parenting because I was a parenting coach. I can share about homeschooling because that's what I do. And I can share about women's rights and freedom activism, like, you know, medical freedom, that sort of thing, because that was a big passion of mine. And so I just did that. I just started sharing more about the things that excited me. And then as I learned in the academy, step by step by step, what to do, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like, it happened so quickly for me. And it was incredible because I was willing to do the internal work. I knew that if I had $57,000 in credit card debt, that I needed to change my relationship with money, step one. Like, there was no question about that. And so I dove head into the money course. And then I thought, Brooke, like, there's nowhere to lose here. That's what I came down to. There's no way to lose here. Even if I wanted the water for myself and my family because I was a health net. I wanted the personal development because I hadn't been able to invest in personal development for myself for like 8 years since I had become a mom because we were so broke. And then I really wanted the community. I wanted the sisterhood. I wanted the community of people who were into creating possibilities, because it matters the people you spend the most time with. And I thought, okay, check, check, check. Like, there's no way to lose here. Like, and if I can make some money on the side, great. But here's what happened for me. I had so many limitations, and my biggest one was time. As an unschooling mom of two, and send my kids, I didn't have a nanny, I didn't have a babysitter, we didn't have any money, I didn't have anywhere to send my kids. And I thought, how the hell am I gonna possibly find more time? But like Saber alluded to, like, you know what I was doing every night? I would go to bed, I would put my kids to bed, and I would pick up this thing, and I would spend at least an hour, maybe 2 hours a day, if I'm being honest, at least on this thing, just vegging out, right? If you're a mom, you know what the hell I'm talking about. It was just scrolling. And I thought, why am I not taking that 2 hours, right? I have this limitation of time, which is bullshit, because you make time for what you want. That's it. Simple as that. But if I'm wasting 2 hours of time on my phone anyways, why not take that 2 hours and turn it into building a business? And I did this all while unschooling my kids for that first year and a half, all by myself. So I was with my kids full time, and I was building this business in the pockets of my time. But here's what happened. It moved very, very quickly, and everybody has different results, obviously. But it doesn't matter what anybody else's results are. All that matters is that you are living a life where you are taking a step forwards to create what you actually want. I wanted to do this for my kids, and I wanted to do it for myself because I wanted to show them what was possible. I wanted my own money. I was sick and tired of waiting for anybody else to change things. And for me, it moved very, very quickly. And I went from no traveling in 8 years to 7 trips across the globe, like big trips. I took my first mom ever vacation and I went to Bali for 30 days, which was like absolutely, I can't even believe that I still did it, and had one of my biggest months while I was there playing, doing nothing other than playing. Like, this is the power of the automation. And in the last 8 months here, I actually have been on vacation. I haven't been in here or working my business in any way, but because of what I built, checks have continued to roll in. I'm completely supported, and it's been like beyond my wildest dreams. And that is the power of the automation and having a community that all works together. And when you are around other people who are lifting you up and showing you what's possible, it's like, I just needed to get out of my own way. I just needed to like kick my limiting beliefs to the curb and decide that I'm worth it, decide that I could actually change my life. And I know that if I can do this as an unschooling mom, anybody can do this. I didn't have any tech skills. I used to cry buckets of tears around like computers and tech skills because I thought I needed to have all these techie things in my wheelhouse. I didn't even know how to save a picture on my computer at the time, but I learned everything step by step by step. I built it all on Facebook, and life is really, really, really different. And one of the things that I love the most about this business is the ability to give back. And by building a personal brand, one of the things that I'm just so honored and like just moved about is about a year ago, my team and I, we decided to raise money for this borehole in Zimbabwe. So there's a number of communities, they don't have clean drinking water there. So we raised money through my personal brand and my team online. It was like done in a couple days. We raised enough money for this borehole. And so this community, this village, now it's 2 villages side by side that have clean drinking water for the first time in their lives, communities of 800 people that are deeply impacted. And now, this is the most amazing thing, now that the girls don't have to walk just to get water every single day, they get to go to school. These kids, these little girls get to now go to school. And that is because I bring it all back to this business and how this business impacts every area of your life, not only every area of your life, but the ripple effect that we can have in the world. We are all capable of so, so much more than we know. There's people that are making a lot more money online that don't have half the talent or half the passion or half the heart than most of us have here. Everybody wants to make a difference, but we can't make a difference when we're living in lack and scarcity. It's impossible. And I completely changed my family's life. And like, I remember the day when like I didn't have to say no anymore to my kids. I said, yes, let's go. Want to do a river rafting trip? Yeah, let's go. You want to go to Petroglyph and spend, $100 to like paint for a couple hours? Let's go. And like the little things that may not be a big deal to you, but they were a huge, huge deal to me, because I came in here because I wanted to make money. I wanted to change things. I got completely out of credit card debt. I'm still way out of debt. I bought a house. Like everything is different for me now. And so I just want you to know that it doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what little fears or huge fears that you have going on right now, right here. Everybody can change their life. And with the automation and the high ticket offer, like what you will see inside the academy when you gift yourself the chance of looking further into this, just that step tells the universe you're ready for change, tells the universe that you're ready to actually value yourself and know that things can be easier. And if you have been praying and asking for a way, here you go. And that's what happened to me. I was asking for a way, and floop, in it comes, and you just have to listen. You have to listen and you have to take action. So I'm super excited for all of you that are here that have made the time. And I can't tell you enough. I just want to scream it from the roof, like, go into the academy and see what is here, because life can be really, really different on the other side.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brooke. You're such a powerhouse, such an inspiration to so many people across the world. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Bye.
Amazing. So as I mentioned, I'm going to just share really quickly what our 48-hour bonus is and our mentorship. And this is how it gets to be. I'm breastfeeding my child at the moment with 3,300 people are. I've pretty much built my business over the last 4 years with babies on my boob. So sorry if that offends anyone, but look, I don't think it can offend anyone, surely. This is just how we do it as mamas. As mamas, this is how we roll. So what you're going to do is success loves speed. So we have a 48-hour fast action takers bonus, which is a strategy call with myself and my husband and our mentor, who, like, I can't actually say how much he has earned for compliance reasons, but like, he is living the most incredible life. And so we have a call that you're going to have access to, which is our generational wealth strategy call. Okay, so that's for everyone who jumps into the platform in the next 48 hours and get started, because success loves speed. Money loves speed, right? So we're going to reward you for taking that action. And then we have a bonus mentorship. And this is probably one of the biggest pieces here. When you come into the academy and you decide to partner with the offer that we recommend and utilize the academy in that way, there is going to be a bonus mentorship for you. Now, we very rarely do these mentorships. These are not ongoing. We're not just saying that. We really rarely do them. What we are doing, though, is we are putting together, because everything's like in the platform. You still have a lot of mentorship in our community and a lot of intimacy and all of that. We have an incredible community. Everyone's built like their best friends inside of this community. It's amazing. It's incredible. But in your early stages, usually people go through a Launch Your Business course in order to get started. What we're going to do is we're going to gift you a mentorship and actually be guided for your first 30 days. And there's going to be live calls as well for you to tap into, ask any questions, get hot seat coaching so that you can get one-on-one support on those calls. When you go through the discovery process and get on your call, the DBS, or the Digital Business Specialist, is going to share more about that with you. But that is something that you do need to qualify for, and that you do need to be accepted to come into. So that's our bonus mentorship for your first 30 days, that you can have the most incredible support in order to set everything up. I would love for you to pop into the comment box of what was your biggest takeaway of today. You might have questions right now. You can come into our platform and you can get on your call and you can ask those questions, right? This is about really taking you through this process. And this isn't about us being like, hey, you should buy this, you should do this, you should do that. This is like, hey, if you are attracted to this, this gets to be something that you can take and run with you, just like thousands of other people have. So you get to have all your questions answered once you come on through and go through that discovery process and also jump on that call. So all you need to do now is really just get started, right? So we're so excited to welcome you into this space and really support you with these next steps. So I'm going to end this broadcast now, sending you all so much love from wherever you're dialing in from. Can't wait to see you inside of the academy real soon. And I'm excited for each and every one of you.